Hello and welcome to UNCW. In this video, we will go over F1 immigration regulations so you can lawfully maintain your status. As an international student at UNCW, you will join 400 other international students and scholars from over 60 different countries. We are so glad you chose to join our Seahawk family. In this online orientation, we will talk about your immigration-related documents, maintaining legal status, how to work in the United States, and other topics like Social Security numbers, paying taxes, and getting a driver's license. First, we will begin with your documents. To start, your passport must always be valid while you are in the United States. Check your passport's expiration page. If you need an extension, you will need to contact your nation's embassy in the United States or apply for an extension in your home country. The I-20 outlines the terms of your degree program. Please note the program end date. Your I-20 must always be valid and accurate while you are in the United States. If you have updates to your academic major, expected degree completion date, or proof of financial support, you must let your international student advisor know. Please make sure you have signed, dated, and printed your name at the bottom of the first page. Citizens of Canada should skip this slide as they do not need visas. Citizens of every other country must have an F1 visa stamp valid at the time of entry to the United States. A visa cannot be obtained in the United States. You can only get a new visa at a U.S. consulate or embassy abroad. The visa only has to be valid on the day you enter the U.S. Unlike the I-20, the F1 visa does not have to be valid while you are inside the U.S. So, for example, if your visa stamp expires on May 31st, you can use that visa to enter the U.S. through that date. As long as your I-20 is valid beyond that date, you are okay to be in the U.S. even though your visa is expired. If you try to enter the U.S. on June 1st, you will not be allowed in. If your visa is expired and you will leave the U.S., you will need to obtain a new visa before you can come back in. Remember, a visa cannot be obtained in the U.S. You can only get a new visa at a U.S. consulate or embassy abroad. The I-94 number is the tracking number for each entry and exit you have to the U.S. You obtain this number by visiting the website listed here. You will need to obtain this number if you plan to apply for a Social Security number, want to work in the U.S., apply for a driver's license, or open a bank account. Now that we've gone over your documents, we will now discuss how to maintain your F1 student status. As an international student in the U.S., there are several immigration regulations with which you are required to comply. Your international student advisor is here to explain these rules to you, but it is ultimately your responsibility to comply with these federal regulations. Speak with your advisor if you are confused. As we've already covered, your passport, I-20, and visa have specific validity rules. Be sure to follow these. Secondly, you are required to report to the Office of International Programs within 10 days of your initial arrival to the U.S. to check in. Bring your passport and I-20 with you on this visit. You are also required to take a full course of study every fall and spring semester. This means undergraduates must take at least 12 credits and graduate students must take at least 9 credits every fall and spring. There are a few exceptions, so speak with your advisor if you have questions. Secondly, you are required to report all U.S. address changes within 10 days of moving to your advisor. Every time you leave the U.S., you must obtain a travel signature on your I-20 prior to leaving, otherwise you will not be allowed back in. If you leave your program early, you are required to inform your international student advisor before leaving. When you graduate, you have a 60-day grace period to hang out, but you must either leave or change your status by the 60th day. Now that we've covered some of the rules, we will begin to talk about some of the benefits of F1 status. As an F1 student, you are eligible for two types of employment: on-campus and off-campus employment. We have a handout that goes over all of the rules, and you should read this handout thoroughly and speak with your international advisor before working. The U.S. government considers working without proper authorization a very serious offense. As an F1 student, you may work anywhere on the UNCW campus immediately without authorization. The only limitation for on-campus employment is that you work no more than 20 hours a week while school is in session. You may work more than 20 hours a week on campus during the summer. Off-campus employment is much more complicated than on-campus employment. Off-campus employment must be related to your academic major. It also requires an application, and that application must be approved before you may start working. Also note that it can take 3 months or more to obtain off-campus employment authorization, so you need to plan ahead. Make an appointment to speak with your international student advisor well in advance of when you want to start working off campus. Having a Social Security number makes life easier in the U.S. You will be asked for your SSN when you apply for an apartment, cell phone, credit card, job, bank account, driver's license, and more. As an F1 student, however, you are only eligible to apply for an SSN if you have a job offer. If you do have a job offer, you will need your employer to complete a special form that you can obtain from your international student advisor. You will take that signed form along with your immigration documents to the Social Security office to apply for an SSN. It will take about 2 weeks for your Social Security card to arrive in the mail. The U.S. tax system is rather complicated. In the U.S., the employer withholds taxes up front, and then the employee files a tax return at the end of the calendar year to get a refund or pay the difference of what's owed. Every person who works in the United States is required to file a tax return no later than April 15th. The Office of International Programs is not allowed to advise on tax law, so instead it purchases multiple licenses for a tax software program designed for international students, so you can file your tax return using the software. If you work while in the U.S. and thus need to file a tax return, be sure to contact the Office of International Programs at the end of the year so they can provide you with a license for the software. As you may realize, America truly is the land of the car. Many students find having a car useful in Wilmington. To obtain a driver's license, you must present the following documents: proof of age and identity, proof of residency, proof of legal presence, and proof of car liability insurance. With these items, you will be asked to take a written and then driving test. We urge you to study for the written test, as signs and rules may be different than in your country. For full details, please review our handout listed here. This brief orientation covered a lot of information, and we realize it's a lot to take in. Don't worry, we are here to help you. The Office of International Programs is located in Friday Annex and is open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Staff within the Office of International Programs can assist you with general questions and can make appointments for you to meet with your international student advisor for more complex matters. We wish you all the best as you embark on your journey as an international student at UNCW. Let us know how we can help you.